Alright guys, I'm back from vacation. It's Sunday, August 30th, and thought I'd make a video today. I'm going to do a little bit of seam sealing on the inside of these doors. My vacation to Italy was fantastic. It's a beautiful city. We went to Venice, we went to Rome, we went to Florence. Venice is a floating city. I could never live there because there's no cars. I love cars, and so all they have there is boats. I guess you could fix your boat up, make it cool or whatever, but yeah, it's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. The history is amazing. If you ever get a chance to go, it's fantastic. Let me say, it's ridiculously expensive. It's a tourist trap, just like everywhere. I've been all over the place. We've been all over the world. We've been to Hawaii, we've been to Jamaica, we've been to the Bahamas, we've been all these different Cozumel, different places, and Italy is the same as all the other places in that aspect of it's a tourist trap, and they gig you, they get your money, they overprice everything, and that's just the way it is. You kind of almost have to realize that going in, unless you get off the beaten path. And most of the places we stay, we always get hooked up with somebody that works there, end up befriending them, and kind of figuring out the ins and outs, and going to the, some of the places. Because when you go to places like Jamaica and Hawaii, those are very poor. A lot of the places through there are very poor. Jamaica is a very poverty-stricken area, and so you go through all these neighborhoods getting to your resort, and then you get to this paradise resort where all the money is, which isn't reality for most of these places. Most of these people do not live like that. They may work on the resort, but they don't live like that. And so, and I know most of you guys know this, but it's just interesting to me that it's just not reality. Most of the buildings in Hawaii and Jamaica and places like that, they're falling apart. The water's deteriorating them. I mean, and the same in Italy. Just beautiful history, buildings, stuff like that. But the water they have there, they call it the lagoon, and literally, from what I understand, and they're supposedly working on their septic system, but all of their waste from human waste, piss and shit and all that, all drains out into the water. They didn't, when they made this city thousands of years ago, they didn't have the septic systems and stuff that we have today. So from what I understand, it's still, so you don't want to swim in that stuff. I mean, like I said, and you could smell it as you're walking through the city every so often. You get a hint of, shit, basically. And so it's interesting. Like I said, we get to befriend people and talk to them about the culture and the realities of the area and stuff like that. Found out that the gondola guys make like $150,000 a year, would be American, or be 150,000 euros, so probably closer because the euro's off from the dollar, which I found out. That's another thing. You go there and you take a $100 bill in and you switch it over, and they give you $75 for your 100. It changes per day, but normally it was about that, which is very disappointing, because you go in and you get $200 or $300 to spend, and then they take a quarter of it. And so, and like I said, and all the prices are just absolutely astronomical too, because they don't take tips in. They do and they don't, but they don't, like here, let's say you get your meal, and at the bottom they swipe your card, and at the bottom it says tip. Well, they don't have that there. They already kind of automatically put that in to their prices, so everything's real expensive. But anyway, I'm gonna end up making this video really long, but just to let you know, it's fantastic. Would I want to live there? No. Great to visit? Yes. All the Colosseum, getting to see all the history and all that stuff was awesome. It's beautiful. Again, would I want to live there? No, absolutely not. Any of those places like that I've been to, they're great to visit, but I always wondered, why in the world would I live in Oklahoma out of all the places in the whole world I could live? Because I visited a lot of places and they're great to visit, but it's just not reality. yeah, I'd love to live in Colorado, places like that where there's more for me, because I mountain bike and stuff like that. It'd be fantastic. It's beautiful. They have skiing. They have all that kind of stuff. And it's not so touristy, probably not in a lot of the areas. But yeah, that tourist stuff, man. Walking through the city, you've got all these super wealthy people. They're rude. They'll walk right in front of you. The cultures are all different. So you've got Chinese people, you've got the Mediterranean people. Well, they're all different than what I'm used to. You know, here, if somebody gets close to you or whatever, you stop and let them go through or whatever. Man, they just walk right in front of you and stop. They don't give two shits about you. It took a while to get used to that because I'm just not that guy. I'm not used to that. So yeah, for the first 2 or 3 days, I was ready to pound the shit out of somebody. And my wife was like, you know, you need to realize that these people aren't from the same culture you are. They don't have the same, and not that that's wrong. It's just wrong in my opinion. You know, like I said, to me, that's just rude. But they may view what I do as weakness. You know, so it's just the way you look at it. It's just different. So after getting used to that, it was pretty cool. Like I said, you know, super expensive. Everything's expensive. The food's expensive. The hotels are expensive. We stayed in a five-star hotel, which was astronomically priced, and we stayed there for 13 days. So yeah, it was real expensive. And I'm that guy that, and my wife loves to travel. And don't get me wrong, I like to go places. But for me, I'm that, and this may almost sound boring, but if I'm gonna spend that kind of money, I like to see, it's like eating out. When you go spend $300 on a meal, I'm like, I can get full on Arby's, you know. And don't get me wrong, I like nice good food and that type of stuff, but you know, the next day it's gonna be a turd in the toilet and it's gone. So for me, if I'm gonna spend $200 or $300, you know, I could buy a paint gun, or I could, you know, you could buy something that you can see every day. So when you get all said and done, you spend $10,000 to $15,000 on a vacation like that. Like, man, look at all the things you could have, you know, I could have had my house repainted and done floors and stuff that you're going to enjoy for years versus 2 weeks and it's gone. So is that a good attitude? I don't know. That's just me. So that's just the way I look at things. My Camaro, for 15 grand, I could have had my Camaro at least halfway finished. So is it memories? Is it a lifetime that I'll be able to look back and say, this is where we went, we saw it, it's beautiful, absolutely. You know, I don't know, I guess maybe I'm a little boring when it comes to that type of stuff, because like I said, we've been all over the world, and I'm happy right here. I'm happy in my shop. I couldn't wait to get home. 2 weeks is too long. A week would have been fantastic. 2 weeks, that's way too long. You know, we lived like millionaires while we were there, although we weren't, you know. But I don't even know that I would like living like that all the time. Again, like I said, you know, I guess, you know, if you're super wealthy and you lived in Italy, you know, you could drive Ferraris and you could race Ferraris. That would be super awesome. That would be super cool. But if you're just in the median and you're just a normal person there, you know, I don't know what they do for fun there. But that touristy place is just not for me. So anyway, I'm gonna make this video super long. I'm gonna get on to what I'm gonna do today. All right, guys. When I left last time, I had put some filler on that, sanded some of it down. Well, after I shut the camera off, I went ahead and thought, you know, I really want this lower panel here because I hadn't put filler on that. So I went ahead and spread some filler on the whole deal here. Didn't really block it or anything, just left it so that it would chemically adhere. Now I'll go ahead and block it down and get it whatever and get it all finished out. But But that's where I kind of left off. Wanted to do inside here. I don't know how well that'll show down in there, but you can see got that welded up, and now I'm going to seam seal that. There's a seam down in there. Well, these window channels, as all of you know, you're going to have water. Even as you're washing your car, you're going to have water that runs down the windows, and it goes straight into there. Well, there's channels in there where it runs into the rocker panel, and it's supposed to run out on the ground, and it runs in down the back here, and runs out under here. So basically that's the way they had this set up for draining. But there's a lot of seams in there too, so if there's going to be a lot of water in there, you need to make sure that you put your seam sealer down in there. So I'm going to have to go through this area here with my gun, basically put it in here and get it, well, there goes my light, but anyway, get it down in there and get that all seam sealed up. That's super important. I said that's going to have a lot of water sitting in there, so I need to make sure that I get that sealed up real good. And I think years and years after it gets a lot of dirt and everything down in there, it starts plugging up those drain holes and stuff like that, and that water sits in there, and that's what rusts these cars out like it does. And again, inside your rockers, it gets dirt in there. Well, that dirt sits with the moisture, and then it starts eating from the inside, and then it starts eating through. You see the bubbles in your paint. That's what happens. So getting inside those channels, to me, is super, super important. That's why I went so far as to even cut out on the other side. I don't know if you guys remember that, but to get all the sand, because the guy had this thing sandblasted. Do this one-handed or not. But you guys remember, right through here, I went ahead and cut that whole piece out of there and pulled it out and got a shop vac in there and sucked all that dirt and all that stuff out of there, cleaned it out real good, washed it out, and then went ahead and coated that whole inside of that. Because like I said, if I would have left that in there like that, 4 or 5 years, this thing's rusting out again. It's going to need to be redone. So I'm trying to make this a long-term repair. This is how I'm going to do my car. Figure I want to do his car just like I'm going to do mine. Hell, I'll probably do a better job on his, because there's certain things I can live with, but there's certain things that I won't do for me that I will do for other people, because I want it right for them. You know what I mean? All right, guys, I got all that seam sealed up down in there, that whole seam. I just went ahead and spread it. Cut me a spreader down where I can spread that in there. Well, I'm showing that good, but anyway, just sealing that seam and those welds up real good, because that's going to have a lot of water down in there. So, well, hopefully not a lot of water, but it'll have some, because you wash the car or rain or whatever. Same down in here. You can see it. Probably see it a little better over here actually. But yeah, just did that whole seam there. That stuff's supposed to cure up in about an hour. So tried to smooth it the best I could, but it's hard to get down in there. So it is what it is, but it's protected. So that's what we want, main thing. So when you're doing your car, don't forget that little area, because that'll bite you in the ass for sure. You'd end up having your shit rot out down there at the bottom pretty quick. So because you get the moisture get between those seams, and it just sit in there and start eating away. So all right, little heads up on that. I'm gonna do a little bit of something else, and I'll bring you back. See. Hey guys, been piddling a little bit. I needed yet to weld these up, so I welded them up and ground them down. Little areas here, the areas around here. Actually, I almost forgot these areas in here, so I had to actually take my spot welder and actually cut me out 3 holes here and weld those in. But yeah, little stuff like that. It's, I mean, there's so much stuff on these cars that you got to remember. Like I said, and I even still, where I welded through here, I got to come back and actually make sure I put some primer or something on the inside of that to protect it from rust on the inside. So stuff I need to write up on the board so I don't forget. And hell, I may just do it now. I may stick my arm in there with a little bit of rattle can primer, etch primer, and go over those little areas. That way I just don't forget. But yeah, I've just been playing with that a little bit. Of course, earlier you saw that I got the insides of those seam sealed. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put it back here in the back, get it back up on my lift, and finish blocking this out so I don't have to get on my knees and sit there on my butt and whatever, trying to get down to that low area. I can actually put it up chest high or so and just sit there and sand it. Makes it nice. Like I said, I got a lift, might as well use it. So, all right, guys, I'll bring you back when I get a little something else. See you. While I'm thinking about it, a little update on this, my compressor and a little deal. I just sat and ground all that stuff, or run my grinding disc, and I cut off my roll lock and the whole deal. It's just this thing sat and ran and ran and ran. I was going to show you. What's cool, I didn't realize this little guy here, it automatically dumps itself. It automatically drains. You can see the water there, it just spits it down on that. But yeah, this just shut off, and I'm sure this sucker's hot as hell. Matter of fact, let's take a look. It's probably cooling down since it started, but sorry guys, it's kind of a spur of the moment. I thought, hell, I'll kind of give you guys a little quick update. So we're looking at 184, 185 degrees up here. This line's coming straight off the motor. It's about 90 degrees. And then down here at the bottom where it's coming out, it's 83 degrees. And then the bottom of my tank down here is 78 degrees. 82 degrees up at the top. So as it's getting down lower to where it actually spits out here, yeah, 78, 79 degrees. So also, it's collecting almost 100%. I'd say 97% of the water is collecting right here and then spitting out. And then down here, if I used to get a big puddle out, it really has nothing. Nothing. This one collects just a tad, but almost nothing. And you can see a little bit of the bubbles there, little water bubble vapor or whatever that's in there. But then as you come over here to this one, where it's just getting closer to my lines, where it's literally clear. There's nothing. There's no water vapor, nothing. So got to tell you, that's working fantastic. And that, and of course, then from there it has to get through the motor guard and through that if I was painting. So, but again, I went through all that to protect my tools because I was getting water squirting out the end of my tools. My blow gun, I'd have water spraying out the end of the blow gun, stuff like that. So anyway, yeah, a little quick update on that. If you guys are even on the fence about this, take my word, you'll love it. It absolutely works. Yes, it cost me, 150 bucks or so. You may be able to get away a little cheaper, but I bought this, I bought the nice stuff, I bought the big copper line. That little guy up there, the condenser, was 85 bucks or so, something like that. So yeah, but and again on this deal, you probably almost don't even need that water. I mean, like again I said, that's almost overkill. By the time it comes out the condenser at the bottom, it's already cooled it tremendously. So I could literally run from the back of the bottom of the condenser out and straight into this and probably get the same effects. Like I said, I don't know if that water's making that big of a difference or not. So, and the water's room temperature, which right now it's 77 degrees in here. So anyway, a little quick update on that. Especially like Double R's talking about getting, wanting to know how it was working. Buddy, it's working fantastic, especially the more I use it. I've run this compressor on and off pretty much the whole day, and I got out here probably 8, 9 o'clock this morning. It's after 1 now, so just piddling around out here. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna get this car backed up and get some of these tools cleaned up, and maybe start doing a little bit of sanding. So see you guys. Hey guys, well, I'm real happy with that. Got it all blocked down, and it's straight. Feels real good. I've got a couple of little spots here, like this here, that I had to tap down a little bit. And you can see the little tap marks in there. I'll go back over that with a little bit of putty coat. What do they call that? I forgot what they call it, but it's basically glaze. It's called glaze. I'll go over that with glaze. There's a few little pinholes here and there that I'll go over with glaze. Get this all cleaned up real good. I still got a few edges and stuff I got to finish up, but for the most part, yeah, it turned out real nice. I've got to put the car up in here and get underneath here and make sure I get all that done, but mostly worked up top and on these areas here. And like I said, it feels real smooth. Oh, a little heads up. Make sure you take when you're putting your filler on, make sure you take your spreader and clean this off. Just go around the edge and clean this off. It'll save you a ton of work. It's going to take forever to get this crap out of here. And it's just from rushing and not really, not cleaning these up good. So yeah, just a little heads up on that. It'll save you a lot of time. That's a pain in the butt. But yeah, I don't know how good that's going to show up with all the light and everything, but you can see that I broke through. But those metal spots are basically good straight metal. So, and it's ghosted all in. And this is a perfect example of wiping the whole panel. Since I did that right there, this panel is going to be really straight, really smooth. Otherwise, that have been just, if you just throw primer down on that and blocked it out, you probably have some ripples. So that'll actually get it a lot closer to being a perfect surface. So, and again, you can see all this stuff's everywhere. But yeah, a lot of people are afraid of what they call Bondo filler or whatever, but man, it's the only way to make your car just glass ass straight, and close to a show car. So, or if not a show car, hell, a show car, they damn near probably it's like whittling a block of cheese down. Those things are just full of Bondo. I watched a guy one time, actually it was on YouTube, showing how to get these show car gaps, and he literally he had some kind of little foam deal in here, and he just wiped literally Bondo over the whole seam and then pulled this foam piece out and then sit and shape that in with a block and got it perfectly straight. But yeah, and that's a show car, great. But what's going to happen the first time this door opens and hits a gas pump or whatever, man, you're going to have a big chunk of paint and Bondo fall out of it. So that's a big no-no unless it's just a trailer queen car that's going for you're trying to win the car of the year type thing or whatever at the big show. But yeah, those cars are beautiful, but hell, they're not practical because you can't really drive them. I mean, I'd be scared to death. But anyway, yeah, that's probably going to be it for today. And it's about 4 o'clock. I'm going to go in and probably cook some dinner for the wife. And so, yeah, that's it. So, looking pretty decent. Of course, it's You know, a bunch of different colors, gray, green, and silver. But I'll get all this cleaned up, get me some putty coat, finish this out, and then I'll go back over it with the another coat of epoxy primer. And then over that epoxy primer, I'll go ahead, let it cure out 24 hours, and then I'll go over my go over the whole deal with high build, probably four good fat coats of high build, and then I'll let it sit. I'll let it sit for. I'll move on to the next panel and let this sit and cure up and shrink up and do all the stuff it's going to do, and then I'll come back and block it out good. One thing I was taught, I 80 gritted all this. In case you guys are wondering, 80 grit your Bondo flat block. I used a little round one here. It's really flat, really stiff, super stiff, and I was able to get these to sit and work this down like this. Made it real nice and straight, and of course you can get into these little contour areas with that too, so it works out real well. Also, we talked about before, this is a radius. I mean, it's literally, sorry, it's literally kind of rounded. So if you were to take a flat block, it's just gonna, right through here, it's just gonna basically look like a high spot. So you take a block like this, a smaller block, and follow that contour. It's nice and straight, but it's also small enough to where you don't have this, say like this block here, and you can do it. Don't get me wrong. You can roll this, but there's a curve up here that goes in right here. Then it comes out fat here. Then it goes back in here. So if you just were to try to go straight up and down with this block, okay, it's just gonna basically, you're gonna have a high spot. It's gonna be frustrating. So get your little block like this and work it. You can work those contours and follow all those contours. So just my 2 cents on it. The proof will be in the pudding when this is done. If this thing's laser ass straight and looks beautiful, then you know you'll be able to take my advice, and if it looks like shit, then you can just move on. So go with the next guy. But anyway, just trying to help guys out. A little bit of what I've done, experience. Anybody's got some better ways, share them with me, because I'm always interested in learning new and better techniques. So there you go. I'll talk to you guys next time. See you.